Our channel definitely needs subscribers, so if you could take... And
you can see the color difference. This one's got more of an orange peach. This one's more of a...
Appreciated. Thank you. Today, we've set aside a few minutes to visit Trask River Fish Hatchery. When I catch a big salmon or a steelhead or something like that, I guess I don't thoroughly appreciate the work that's gone into producing these fish and the breeding that has made these fish big and strong. When I catch a big fish and I'm standing there holding him up, smiling, I never stop to think about where did he actually come from. We drive up some rain-soaked roads a few miles from our place, and then we turn off Highway 101 by Tillamook Air Base. This is where the old blimp station was during World War II. And we go down the road in front of the blimp station till we come to the Trask River Fish Hatchery. We go in and see lots of nice stainless steel tanks full of water with screen on them, and in these tanks we can see some salmon swimming around.
Oh boy, that's a big one.
So this is the group we're going to be spawning this afternoon. So we're going to go through here and identify the females and check them for ripeness. Make sure their eggs are ready. All these should be ready to go.
Yeah.
We should be spawning about 5 females this afternoon.
Okay. So, what time would we need to be here, you think?
I'd pop in about 1:15 or so.
Okay, 1:15. So we can go down to Tillamook and come back and do that then. But anyway, you'll spawn these this afternoon then, huh?
Yep, one will spawn this afternoon.
Yeah. Okay. And what's in these other?
These are all coho in here except for that tank over there, which is that's our first wild brood steelhead of the year. So these are all wild brood fish.
We see the real deal. Some good, healthy coho salmon in a tank, which they're going to spawn out in just a little bit. And of course, only the healthiest and biggest of the run will be spawned out to carry on the genes for another generation. And these fish will spend about their first year in the rivers and streams, and then after about the first year, they'll spend 2 years at sea and then come back up into the river where they were originally spawned or released. The screens, there are screens over the tank that can be lifted up and lowered down, and they have to be lowered down or else these fish, they're very strong, active fish, will jump right out of the tank, and no one wants to see that happen. There are stacks of these trays, and on the end of the tray usually they write what's in the trays. There's so many you couldn't remember what all's in them, but these are just the eggs that are in the trays. And so pretty soon, within a little bit, a fertilized egg, an eyeball will start showing up, and then a little fish is hanging on above the egg sac, and in the wild they go down and bury in the sand till this egg sac dissolves, but here they're just set there and wait for it to dissolve, and this is furnishing energy for them to grow quite a little bit. And once that egg sac gets completely dissolved and the little spot on their belly where it was heals up, then there's a little thing in their throat that won't let them eat. And after this happens, their this little thing clears out of their throat, and they're ready. They're ravenous as little monsters. Everyone here has a great deal of respect for the fish and love their fish and their jobs, and that is great. Nature has done a great job with selection to make multiple types of salmon and great big husky ones, but then man can step in and help with this. We've got things so messed up in nature that we have to give it a little help once in a while. And so with selective breeding, you can probably make bigger and stronger fish that are more likely to survive. And there are lots of different kinds of salmon. So if one gets in trouble, then the next will be there. And these fish, they're ravenous now. These were only released today out of the little pans where they were only released a day or so ago. And they're gobbling up food like there's no tomorrow.
And you can see the color difference. This one's got more of an orange peach. This one's more of a beautiful red.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, shiny. Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine all the eggs. You can see that contrast a little better.
Yeah.
Two different egg types.
Yeah. What makes the different egg colors?
My
It's
guess,
just-
it could be, a lot of the times with fish, it could just be what their nutrition is. And
Oh,
you can
yeah.
see that third female replicates the second female, but they're quite different from the first female.
Oh yeah.
So I'll mix all of these eggs together very lightly, just kind of mix them around. They're pretty fragile in this state, so I don't want to be too rough.
Yeah.
And then I'll divvy it back into 3 buckets.
Huh?
Where it seems about even. And then we'll put 1 male's sperm in each of these buckets, but that way the 1 male is now going to fertilize a little bit of eggs from each of those females, so you get more of a genetic variation. Instead of it being 1 male and 1 female for all 2,300 eggs, now you're going to have multiple different combinations of male and female spawning together.
Okay. Yeah.
Now,
That male must be a swinger then.
most males are in the fish world, which is why we're going to release the males back out into the river. Just because they've provided us some milk today doesn't mean they can't go provide more milk to the females out in the river.
Oh yeah. Great.
So we're going to let the males go out and keep doing their thing after we use them today.
Yeah. Well, after you get the sperm to the male, can he make more then?
Oh yeah, he's got giant milk sacs essentially that are about this long in his body. So we're just going to take
A little bit.
very little bit from him, and you don't need much more than a thimbleful to fertilize each of these buckets.
Yeah. Okay.
So now
The males will be put in this tank and sedated just to calm them down. And here goes one in, and boy, he is excited, but he'll calm down in a great big hurry. Then 2 more highly selected, big, strong males will be put in this tank to sedate them, and it only takes a little while. Pretty soon they just kind of lay over on their side, and they're just as calm as can be at that point.
Yeah. They're coming right down.
Yeah, don't let them fool you. They can come right back to it pretty fast, too.
Oh, I'll bet. Yeah.
And so what we'll do is after we spawn, we'll put these guys back in here, and then we can go set up down by the river.
Oh, yeah.
So which one, what's your YouTube channel?
Oh, it's
And then
yeah.
So we're gonna pull around, we're gonna take it back over that way.
Okay.
So usually it's a little bit of water and then it turns white and that'll be the milk.
Oh yeah.
And that's all I need.
Wow.
Then if you want to follow me back over to the eggs real quick.
Okay.
I'll take my bucket of eggs. And then I'll lightly waft. And that bucket's good to go.
Oh, be darned.
John, do you want to run those out now or after?
We'll do it afterwards.
Okay. So I'll set that bucket aside and then we go do it again.
Okay.
Good.
And he's got plenty more. He can go back out to the river and do that over and over.
Oh, well, good. Yeah.
You know, I went to school in kind of Troutdale area. Yeah, I went to Mount Hood Community College for this. So I only had to have a 2-year degree and didn't leave $100,000 in debt like most of the 4-year programs cost.
Right, yeah.
It was a technical school, so we had a hatchery in our classroom that we ran and we all were responsible for. And then we went and partnered with Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, the federal fish hatcheries, and Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, and we worked at their hatcheries while going to school. So we got a lot of experience with a lot of different fish species.
Oh, yeah.
Did you go to the high schools in this area or over there? I went to high school in Florida. Oh, in Florida. I'm a transplant.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not from here. Wow. But I will never leave. I love it here.
Oh,
We
great.
got one more boy to do. Beautiful boy.
Yeah.
Beautiful spawning colors on him.
Yeah.
Go ahead. That's pretty watery.
Now they'll revive real quick there,
Yeah,
huh?
they're already starting to gill and get a little bit chompier.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So what we can do if you want is we can go down to the river and if you want to wait down there, I can, because I go pretty quick when I have.
He's waking up.
He's pretty feisty.
It's the way we like him.
Yeah.
It's like that was some kind of party.
Oh, yeah.
He acts like a real drunken fish.
He's a real drunken fish. He'll shape up in just a minute.
He's like, what the heck just happened?
Oh my head.
Yeah, right, yeah.
There he
It
goes.
just gets harder the older you get, buddy.
Yeah.
Especially for him. After you guys.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. So fish can really have a variation in how big their eggs are, which will change how many eggs you have in an ounce.
Oh, wow.
So we take this little trough, I'll lightly grab. I mean, you could tell right here that those orange ones we saw earlier are quite a bit larger than the red ones that they're next to.
Oh, wow. You can see it. So your weight will differ on those.
So my goal is to just get a single line worth of eggs.
Oh, I see.
With a representation of all the different sizes in there.
Nice.
But these eggs at this stage, they're kind of soft, so you don't want to try to squish them together. You want a really loose fit.
And what was the reason that they're different size?
That's just based on the female.
Okay.
Each female can have a different size, a different color.
Oh, wow.
Some of that can be nutrition, some of that can be the size of the female itself. So I have a nice single file, nothing's too smushed together. I'll kind of spread them out to make sure I'm not squishing any of those eggs. And I get my nice single file row. You can see all the different colors.
Yeah.
And then I'll just lightly count them. 46. Typically we'll get an average of that, so if you wait right here. I'll take the number 46, and these are just pre-calculated numbers. So if I had 46 eggs in my 12-inch trough, that means I'm gonna have 119 eggs in 1 ounce.
Oh yeah.
So it's a little bit of a cheat sheet we printed up for us.
Yeah.
So now I have my egg per ounce number. Then I have to get incubation, I have to get their incubation basket ready, in which they're gonna take a little bath for 15 minutes in a egg-friendly iodine solution. Let me turn the light on back here so you guys can see that.
The iodine solution.
Spawning wild coho, they're ready at various times. Not like when you have a hatchery stock returning, a lot of your fish come back at once. These are wild fish, so they start spawning and end spawning over a period of about 3 months when it comes to coho.
Oh yeah.
So here's an empty tray. I'll probably only need 2 trays. system upstairs, so all the water that comes in here is filtered for most of the sediment load that we get, and it's also UV treated, so it'll zap any of the natural existing pathogens in the water. So after a huge storm event, you can tell we get very little silt in here,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll get a little bit of the water out of the tray. It also removes a little bit of the silt that's in there. I know the reason for removing water is that the eggs are going to displace some of this water when I put them in there.
Yeah.
And then this rock helps mitigate for air bubbles that might form under here. The eggs don't weigh a whole lot.
Yeah.
And the water drops into each of these trays, so sometimes you get a little bit of air in it. And if you have an air pocket under your eggs, that'll actually cause the egg to die.
Oh yeah.
So we use these rocks to kind of weigh down the bottom of these trays. You can see all the little air bubbles in there.
Right. Yeah.
And what does the iodine do?
It sanitizes the egg from any natural pathogens that might have existed on the fish, and just keeps them a little cleaner in this process. There's several forms of iodine that we can use in a hatchery setting. This one is specifically called ovidine, ova standing for egg. So it's very egg friendly. They just sit in like a little 15-minute bath. They get 50 milliliters. As you can tell, it's a little bit thicker, so I like to swirl it around, make sure it's evenly mixed up and there's not like a hot concentration of it anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
And if I were to push this all the way in, it would introduce new water, but I don't want to do that, so I leave the trays kind of pulled out so there's no water flushing this chemical out right yet.
Yeah.
All of our chemical usage here is heavily tracked and monitored by DEQ.
Oh yeah.
So everything's federally approved and monitored.
Yeah.
And it meets a very heavy dilution before entering back into the river system.
Oh yeah.
So I've got the 2 trays ready to go. Here, the next time we take them out, they'll be at this stage. So you can see that there was some loss already. Any white egg is an egg that didn't make it.
Okay. And so do you pick those out or just leave them?
We pick them out.
You
So
pick 'em
we'll
out.
pull these completely out of the stacks. You can see their little eyeballs looking at you.
Oh yeah.
All the little black dots are their eyeballs.
There we
There,
go.
I got it. Yeah, there's his little eyeball.
Little eyeballs staring right at you. So
Looking right.
the next stage they go through is a process we do called shocking. So I'll take these eggs and they'll get a bounce off of a surface, kind of a hard surface, about a 6-inch drop. Any eggs that weren't fertilized will crack open and turn white.
How's he doing?
And any egg that is fertilized, these guys are hard as ping pong balls right now. You can bounce them and they are good to go. But if the egg hasn't been fertilized or is dead for any reason, it'll shock out in 24 hours. It'll be this color. And then we remove all of those dead eggs or bad eggs out. And then we put them back in here until they hatch. When they hatch, there'll be a spine with a giant jelly sack of a belly. And then we let them completely button up before we put them into a tank. Because they won't feed until they've completely absorbed that yolk sac.
Yeah.
So these are coho. This is what we call an F stock. We spawned returning hatchery fish, but those hatchery fish's parents were wild. In theory, we won't have to use these, but we always take the hatchery stock as backup. We want our production that we release to be from wild fish, but say some catastrophic event happens, we lose a stack of eggs, we have a bad female, anything like that, we have these as backup so we can still meet production goals.
Oh yeah.
Some of these eggs will go to Depot Bay. They've been taking eggs from us and doing small releases out there. So
yeah.
even though we can't use them, somebody can.
Yeah. Yeah, and so some of these fish will be caught by commercial fishermen and
Once they enter the ocean, yeah.
yeah.
All of our all of the hatchery fish that we have that we spawned this year were first generation hatchery fish. And they returned to our trap. All of our wild fish were caught by angling via volunteers.
Yeah.
We got a few sack fry popping up in the Chinook too.
Yeah, and if you guys want to see the next stage after this, John will have a visual for you.
Okay.
These guys are just starting to hatch here. Pretty tender, but you see, like Amy was talking about, they're just a spine with a yolk sac pretty much.
I'll be done. No, I'll get up here closer. And the spine's within the egg sac, is it?
Yeah, I mean, they just have they're Elwyn, they just have a little body,
See if I
which is
can't
pretty
get it from here.
translucent.
Come back!
Already evasive.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I see that.
And you can see how big the eyeball is on those eggs.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, I see it from here.
Yeah, there's a little body I see. Yeah.
Probably about 5 or 6 more days, they're all going to be popped out of there, and that's just going to be a mass of...
Good job, right? So hardly.
Oh yeah.